Everyone's talking about Veo 3 right now, but what if you could use GPT-5 inside of Alphana to actually design the scenes and images that become your next Veo 3 video? In today's Insider Live, I'm going to show you how to grab any video or transcript and turn it into reference images using Alphana's new ChatGPT-5 upgrade. Then we're going to take those images and use them as the foundation for cinematic ads or Veo 3 style video prompts. This way, you're not starting from a blank page. You're letting Alphana do the heavy lifting of scene creation, storyboarding, and mood boarding so your videos feel polished right from the start. So by the end of the session, you'll see how to go from raw content to reference images, to finished video sequences, all in one workflow. First things first, what we want to do is we want to generate images, we want to generate these items so that we can generate some Veo 3 videos. Now, I've covered Veo 3 in one of my last sessions. Veo 3 allows you to essentially from any prompt or take an image and create videos that have sound effects, video, talking, all in one shot, right? And so it produces these 8-second clips. But a lot of times you don't know what video to write or what prompts to come up with. And so we're going to leverage Alphana to come up with prompts. We're going to leverage Alphana to come up with the reference images, the scenes, and different elements, all based on a video. So what's great is if you have an existing video, a podcast, an interview, or let's say you did a product launch video talking about a new product or a feature or anything like that, now you could pop that into Alphana. We'll gain those insights and be able to create more from it. So let's take a look at a couple examples of a couple things that we're going to show today. So here, what you see, we've got the wall of insights. All right. We took inside of Alphana, we extracted the insights from the video, and from that video, we created what we call wall of insights, which pulls out these insights from what's happening inside the video. And so you've got a wall, you've got like these little sticky notes and papers that are on there, and all of these are coming from the video, so you don't have to come up with this yourself, right? If you wanted to come up with this prompt, Alphana already handles the prompting, it handles the image generation, and we even show you the prompt that was made right here in case you wanted to tweak it for yourself. Right? Now, here's another example of the wall of insights. So you get several examples of wall of insights and you get to choose the one that you want to use to be able to create video from, right? So now I'm showing you, you should be able to see some example ads. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Okay. So if I scroll back to the top, I've got a video here, and that video generated a series of ads for Superhuman. Okay, Superhuman's an email client app, and you can see how it generated a whole bunch of different concepts for ads based on this company. And if I open it up in Zoom, you could see it generated the UI. It gave it a title like "Never Drop the Ball Again, Try Superhuman Today." It even puts a creator or an actor right on there. But imagine we took one of these and we turned it into an ad. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you. We're going to actually do this one live. It'll be pretty cool. So Alphana generated all of these images. I'm going to generate some live with you as well. But all of these that you see in the carousel, these are all generated inside of Alphana, all from you dropping in a video. And you can upload a video, a podcast, you can upload an interview, or honestly, it doesn't even have to be a video. You can record a voice note on your phone about some ideas, about your company, about your business, or anything like that. Upload that into Alphana. We'll automatically analyze it, transcribe it, and from there, we generate a series of ads and images, all based on those insights. So this kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like from ads from our podcast workflow. So we took an example podcast and generated, for example, a podcast cover art. So if you ever wanted to come up with thumbnail options for your podcast, right? Here's an example of what it is. Now, this video is all about podcasting. So not only did it create podcast covers, but it was about podcasting. So you could see how the elements are relevant, like the studio, the microphone. You can see down here how it put the microphone, and then at the bottom, it's like podcasting meets profit, right? I could see that as an interesting title. Spotify partner program. And here's another one where you see kind of the desktop with the microphone setup. So these are all images that are generated inside of Alphana. Now, why do I say this? Is because you want to be able to generate, if you're trying to come up with a video, you could generate images and scenes all by using some of the prompts and some of the cards that we have inside of Alphana. And then from there, now take those images and we can put that into Veo 3 so you can create some interesting videos based on it. And so I just have a couple that I've created so that we can have a couple to play around with. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Flow and I'll show you what we did with that. Now you should be able to see on my screen, and you're going to see the wall of insights. Okay. And you'll see that I actually generated 2 videos. I'm going to go ahead and click on a video and zoom in. We took that image, I uploaded into Veo 3, and now we're going to turn this into a video. And here we go. So This was one option. Now, it's funny because it has a lot of text, for some reason it misspelled some of the, or changed the words afterwards. Here's another one so you can see what that looks like. It just did two variations of it. All right, so that's an example. What I want to do is we're going to go ahead and create something inside of Alphana. That way we could generate a visual from it. So I'm going to go ahead and create. Let's see what we could do. Inside of Alphana, we have different templates. And so one of the things we want to do is I want to create an image that we can use to put into Veo 3. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to click create. And because I'm going to click on add YouTube or upload, and you have different options, right? I can actually drop in a YouTube link and pull a video from YouTube, maybe from my own channel, or if you're working with other content creators, you could go ahead and upload your own video. So we upload from Drive, Dropbox, or just upload from your computer. But since I already have the video uploaded, I'm going to click reuse from my library. So now that I've got it from my library, I'm going to grab this one about the Apple event, right? So Apple just announced yesterday the new 18 Pro, Pro Max, and the new Air, which looks incredible, by the way. And so you've got MKBHD who went in and did a review about it. So I've got that video uploaded in here already. So what I did was I came up here and clicked create. Inside of Alphana, when I click create, I can now go ahead and upload a video. This is where I was showing you where you can drop a YouTube link to pull any podcast or interview or any video I want to pull, or for example, my own video or audio file. And I'm going to go to reuse from library. And in this case, right, Apple, they released their new iPhone 17 Pro and the Air, which looks incredible. And so I got this interview from MKBHD and I'm going to go ahead and hit create so I could select that video. Now that I've selected this video, instead of using a template, which are essentially big workflows of content that I can create, I'm going to go ahead and click cards. And now that you click on cards, when I come here to search, I'm going to type storyboard. And so now that I've got storyboard, I've got one for music videos, right? So if you're an artist and you want to upload your lyrics or something to come up with an idea for your music video, but in this case, I want to create a storyboard so I can use for Veo 3. So here's a regular storyboard. And you'll look down here, we've got GPT-5 selected. That's very important because the way GPT-5 writes is so much better than what we had before with GPT-4o. In this context, we fine-tuned it. It works so much better and smoother. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And then on the personalization screen, this matters a lot more, especially when writing text, like who your target audience is, your language. I could put in here like target audience creators. That might be very helpful. And then language, if you're trying to write in a certain language. Also, your tone and your reading level is something important that you can put in here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit generate. I'm going to skip editing the transcript and okay, now we're generating. So now we're analyzing the video, and based on the video, we're going to come up with ideas for a storyboard. And this is going to actually create the storyboard images like the images that I showed you earlier. So what I showed you earlier were images, ads, and storyboards that I created on my own just to have those ready for you. And in this case, now we're going to create it live. Meanwhile, as this is generating, if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and drop it in the chat. Is this function a standard part of Alphana or an add-on AI option? So everything I'm showing you right now is standard inside of Alphana. The limits are really going to be how many credits you have, right? So if you're generating a lot of content, you're probably going to need more credits. And the limitations also with the number of hours or minutes of video that you're uploading into Alphana. But aside from that, all this functionality I'm showing you today is inside of here. The only thing that's not included, right? We're using a separate tool to actually generate the video. So I want to make sure that's clear. We're uploading the video, we're sourcing it. That's all happening in Alphana. We're generating the scenes, the images. And then once I go into Google's product, which is Flow, which is where you can generate these Veo 3 videos, that's where you would input these images to be able to generate those videos. So great question. Once the storyboard is created, how are they used? For example, is there a logical next step inside of Alphana with the results? Yes, that's a great question. That's exactly what I'm doing here. This is our next step. So right now, as you can see on the screen, we just generated the storyboard images based on this video. And in this case, we did them as sketches, okay? So it gave you kind of the concepts and ideas, and we could turn that into a video. Now, you could, if you want to use and make this more realistic, right? That's all in prompting, all right? But let me show you what this created first, right? I'm going to go ahead and click the first panel. And now here's a storyboard. You've got a person, he walks in the scene, you see the phone, gets looking at it, notification, right? And he's looking at the camera. This is important because with Apple's launch yesterday, right? They announced their new iPhones. They announced how the camera now has the dual mode with the selfie. Like you could do landscape and vertical videos without rotating the phone. It's really, really cool. So they're probably demoing that. And in the prompt, you'll see that we're very detailed on what happens in every scene. Right? And so if I click next, here's the next scene. You can see what it looks like, and it shows you scene 5 through 8. And if I go next, it shows me scene 9 through 12. And then last but not least, 13 through 16. And look how cool this is. I mean, it got the phones right. It got the battery pack attached to the phone, which they talked about inside of the video. They talked about how thin the phone is. So look how incredible using the 2 fingers with that. Like they literally were holding the phone that way, but straight up. But it's interesting how they're talking about it here. And then down here, you can see the lineup of the different phones that they came out with, along with the watch, the AirPods. So you see the image generation inside of Alphana has understanding of these real world elements to be able to generate these things. And it's just incredible on the level of detail that you can get on here. Now remember, you don't have to just do sketches. You could do realistic. It could be cinematic. It does not need to be that way. So all that happens by clicking on edit. So each one of these cards, you can actually click edit. And now that I've got here, we've got an entire prompt that we've made. And here's the beauty of it. Look how long this prompt is, right? I'm going to keep scrolling. We've got instructions. We've got details. We talk about how the panels should be. We talk about how the prompts, the formats, the scenes, the panels. It's very, very, very detailed. So if there's something you don't like with how the images or content is generated in Alphana, it's most likely because it's not for your preference, and it's because it was instructed to do so. So we give this to you so that you could tailor it to you, right? That's the beauty of it. We want to give you a great starting point. So you're not starting with a blank page. And in this case, I'm not starting with a blank page, right? I have something pre-configured and ready to go, but you can make adjustments to it, right? I could say here, like, I want these 4 panels, but I don't want it black and white and hand-drawn and lightly shaded, right? I want them consistent, cinematic, realistic images, just like a traditional film, you know, just like a movie, right? So you could do like little details like that where I want to make it that way. And if I keep going, I probably maintain a consistent, we do it multiple times. So cinematic, realistic visuals throughout. So I'm just making subtle changes to this, right? I just want to make sure nothing else in here talks about it being cinematic, because then I could show you what this looks like if we made this a little bit more realistic, right? And the visual style must be, you see, we do it multiple times because we're kind of reiterating. So I'll just say cinematic and realistic. I mean, I'm doing this pretty quickly, so obviously we could make this a little bit different. But now I've got this prompt, so I can keep the other one. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to add another card. Okay, now what's cool is that we have a whole library, so you can add more cards to this project. You don't have to stay with one. So this makes it very flexible. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the storyboard, but I'm going to replace it now with the new prompt that we just did. That now makes it cinematic, realistic. Nothing in here talks about it being sketches. So we'll just kind of make sure all that looks good. All right, beautiful. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit generate, and we'll let that run. Okay, while that's running, let's go ahead and make one of these a video. So we've got these different scenes. You've got scene 1, 2, and 3. You've got this one. We've got this one and this one here, right? So let's take a stab at it. I'll just go ahead and grab the first one. I'm going to go ahead and download that one just in case, because this looks pretty cool. I'm going to have it as a backup as well. I'm going to download that one. Totally nailed the video because I actually just watched the full video of his about 2 hours ago before this. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so you can see how detailed it is, nailing the video, right? Now I'm inside of Flow, okay? This is where we could generate. Down here, you're gonna see options. There's text to video, frames to video, and ingredients to video, okay? In this case, we're gonna focus now on frames to video, all right? Now, frames to video allows me to upload a source image as a frame that we want the video to be based on. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I've got different ones that I was messing around with earlier, but I'm gonna now, let's see. Yes, I have the rights. I'm going to go ahead and upload one of the scenes. So what happens is that it forces you to kind of crop an area of the image because it actually uses that as the frame. Let's give it a shot. And let's see, we're going to say, here's 2 scenes of a video that I'd like. Please turn this into a real video with sound effects and speech. So I'm doing something very generic right now. This is in regards to the new iPhone 17 launch. And I'll go ahead and hit generate. All right, so now what it's going to do is going to take the video based on those frames and it's going to generate a scene. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see if we could try this. How would I do this? All right. I think I'm going to try to generate an image, and from generating an image, I'm going to grab one of the scenes. I mean, this still works, but one of the things I would change is that we would generate these images in landscape view before we create it, or in vertical view. And so that's all with a prompt. So we could do that in Alphana so that by the time that you get to Veo 3, you're not worried about reframing how those images are going to be added and how they're going to be cropped. So we'll let this generate. This should be almost done. Now, one thing you'll learn with Veo 3 is it takes the screenshot of the first frame and it makes that the first frame of the video. Okay, so what you would do after is you could always crop that part out of the video if you need to. So let's just take a quick preview and see what this looks like. You guys see that? Look at that. It took the two scenes and turned it into a full sequence. And there it is, zooming into the last frame of the scene. What did you think? I'm going to go ahead and pull up the second one. Let's see what this one looks like.
Is the new iPhone 17 really worth it? Is the new iPhone 17 really worth it?
Now, a couple things with Veo 3. Sometimes it doesn't get it right the first time. You'll notice, like in this example, it's not moving at the same time with his lips and he keeps talking, so the audio is not in sync. That's why, you know, doing two versions helps, because it helps you to kind of see the two different scenarios. But this just gives you an example of what that looks like. Let's grab another scene so we could see how that would look. So this one shows you what it looks like, but in a realistic setting. So before, if you remember, this wasn't in a realistic setting. This was in a sketch, right? Now we took that exact video, but we made it more realistic. So now you've got like a real actor to actually reenact and show you what they're talking about. And so here you've got 4 scenes. And if I keep scrolling, here's another set of 4 scenes. I mean, look at this, right? And it shows you the iPhones. It's so cool. I mean, this is the previous generation iPhones, but here's what's interesting, right? Inside of the video, it talks about the 3 new colors of the iPhone Pro Max. Now, it got the iPhone Pro Max correct, but from that last year's version. But in this version, because it doesn't know what the new iPhone Pro Max looks like yet, all it did was it colored it to the colors that were described in the video, which is the orange, the blue, and the silver color. So this new orange is an orange that's never existed before. And so it's so cool how it picked that out, right? So it even picked it out and tried to visualize what that looks like. Here's another set of scenes. Now, here's the thing is that because we're generating 4 scenes, the actors across the 4 scenes may not be consistent in this example, right? It'll be consistent in the 4 panels. That's why on sketches, it's a little bit easier to kind of just create them and see what it's potentially going to look like. But, you know, sometimes this is to help you get the first draft out the door. Like you're trying to figure out how you're going to create an ad, what the scene should look like, and you're generating these images. This helps you so that you're not stuck with a blank page, and you can use this to now create what the actual piece is going to look like, right? So, you know, why don't we grab one of these, and I'm going to try something with you all. This one's interesting because it kind of goes through 4 different cuts. So I'm going to go ahead and download this. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to Gemini and we're going to use their Nano Banana model. We're going to use Nano Banana to edit this image quickly because I want to see what this will look like. I'm going to use the Create Images tool. Perfect. All right. So I've uploaded the image and I'm going to say recreate this exact 4-panel scene layout, but in a landscape view, in a landscape orientation. Do not create a square. And keep the characters consistent. Make sure it fits in a 16:9 ratio. Essentially, I'm trying to recreate this image. This is using Google's Gemini 2.5 Flash, which is you know, AKA Nano Banana. I covered Nano Banana in one of my past videos. It's actually, a lot of people are loving it because we help generate prompts and look at the use cases with Nano Banana. This is one of those examples, right? We got this image, it's in a square format. I want to be able to recreate it. And if everything goes right, we should be able to see that in just a few seconds. Potentially their image generation is down. This is usually much faster, so I don't know what's going on here. Well, because the image is not loading, I might as well show you a demo that I did with a different storyboard. And there you have it. So that's what I was trying to show you. And you could see, look at the scenes. And I know it's kind of in the middle of changing, but you could see how it starts with outside. Then you see the girl, she turns position, opens the book, and changes a page, right? And so that's the 4 scenes that I uploaded when I initially tested this. And if I play again, look how it recreated it. And this is cool because this kind of leads me to part of my next segment, which is ASMR videos. Okay. This is where we are talking about sounds and sensory and, you know, whispers, like different elements. Like you probably see these videos where you could just watch them all day because you're just listening to the sounds and the soothingness of it. And you're just kind of like, almost you could re-loop the video multiple times over and over again. And this is almost like one of them, right? Unintentional, but you kind of see that here. So this came out great. Now let me see if, yeah, it doesn't seem like the other video created anywhere, which is unfortunate. I wanted to, all right. But even then, like even editing images, this is a fun one, but this is the Nano banana video that we did before. You can see that I used this to actually help me create and enhance the thumbnail. And so you can see where it kind of started, made some adjustments to it, almost like Photoshop, but without having to open up Photoshop. Now, I want to show you, I got to switch my tab so you can hear my audio. But we're going to look at a couple examples on X of ASMR videos. I just showed you one that I created, right? And I'm going to go ahead here and let's just show a couple options here. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of ASMR videos so that you guys can get an idea of what they sound like the one that I showed you. And I'm going to go ahead right here. Let's see. Check this out. So you can see in this video, like you're seeing different cuts and you're really focused on the sounds, taking the tire off, the taps, the drives, the revving of the engines, right? These different elements. And those are the sounds that are coming across, right? And let's go ahead and listen to this one. All right, so you probably heard all that. Very soothing, very soft. You could see how it was essentially carving out everything from the milk, the orange juice, the dishwasher liquid, and ketchup. So I'm just messing around with you. But, you know, ASMR videos, essentially, that's what it's doing, right? It's that soothing voice, right? And look how insanely good this is. You can see how incredible this looks like. And again, there's so many different concepts of how you would use something like this. And I'll show you one more just because they're too cool not to. And then I'm going to show you one that we can make right here. So let's see. I mean, these are hypnotic. So, you know, thanks to y'all on X, Visual, and others that are posting these because these are great examples for us to see. But look at that, right? I mean, they are hypnotic, right? I could use Veo 3 to generate videos like that. That's awesome. But if I don't know what to write to produce a video like that, that's going to be a problem, right? We've got this video that we had uploaded to Alphana. But now I want to create an ASMR type video, okay? But I don't know a prompt. So I'm going to go ahead inside of Alphana and I'm going to click Add Card. And what we want to do is we actually want to generate an ASMR VO3 prompt. And so I've got two so far in here that are pretty cool. One is the ASMR whisper prompt, and then the other one is an ASMR trigger prompt. We've got two different versions. I'm going to start with the whisper prompt so you guys can see what that looks like. And so essentially you'll turn any video or podcast or an episode, we'll gain those insights and we'll turn them into a ASMR whisper prompt that you can now copy and paste and put into VO3 to generate videos. And what's great is that the prompts inside of Alphana are constructed in a way that you could literally have hundreds of different types of videos created, all because it's based on the context of the video. So every video is going to change how this content's going to be created. So look at this prompt. I mean, imagine having to come up with this by yourself, right? So if I open this up, I'm going to go ahead and read this one so we can see what it's going to come out to. And then we're going to go ahead and put that into VO3 so we can generate it. Right, I take that back. Let's actually put that into VO3 so it starts generating, and then I'll go ahead and read it so you guys could see the structure. So now that we've got Flow open, I'm going to come down here and paste this amazing prompt that was written. It's got the scene summary, the character, the environment of what we wanted to generate. All right, so in this case, I don't need a reference image, right? We're just going to do it purely based on prompt. Now, if you wanted to, you can attach a reference image in there too. So if you generated an image inside of Alphana and you wanted to use that look in that scene, but you wanted it to create this, you could do that as well. For now, let's just see what it comes up with. And I'm going to hit next. Now, while that's generating, let's deconstruct this prompt a little bit, right? So in here, we're saying a nighttime desk setup with warm lamplight, a calm tech creator sits close to the camera, whispering first look impressions of Apple's September event. Slow fingertip taps on a phone's glass, soft brushing over aluminum edges, gentle MagSafe clicks, and a faint camera shutter creating soothing layers. The pace is unhurried and intimate, like a one-on-one wind down after the keynote. So it set up the scene perfectly. It described the character, who they are, their personality, the features. It breaks down the environment. Where is the environment in here? Okay. If you want to learn how to create VO3 prompts, you can literally learn by just looking at how we construct them, right? You want to have the character, you want to have an environment, the action sequence, right? The camera close-up framing with the character leans in and whispers. iPhone 17, ProMotion, brighter display, better selfie camera, soft taps the screen. Like, look at that, right? It tells you what the result should be, the gesture, the camera angle, and did I paste this twice? I probably did. That's my mistake. So here it is. We generated it. Let's take a look at what this looks like.
iPhone 17, ProMotion, brighter display, better selfie camera, base storage is bigger, 256. iPhone 17, ProMotion, brighter display, better selfie camera, base storage is bigger.
So look at that. It tried to do it, tried to mimic it, probably spoke a little too fast. We could always fix that with prompting. Let's try another one.
iPhone 17, ProMotion, brighter display, better selfie camera, base storage is bigger, 256 gigs. iPhone 17, ProMotion, brighter display.
All right, so that's one example of a video prompt that could be created with it. Every video is going to be different. It's all going to be based on what the video is about. This was an interesting one to see what that came out like. We can make one up on the spot, like create an ASMR video with focused on the sounds. Take a iPhone 17 Pro and slice it in half with as if it was a firm jello. I'm just making up something, right? Do this 3 times in 3 different scenes to hear the different sounds and elements around. All right. So this is just me making up a quick prompt on the spot. We could always make it better, but you could always do this as well. And this kind of gives you an example. So questions, thoughts, anything so far while this is generating? What did you guys think of the video? Do you see any use cases? Is this something that you can use inside of your workflow to generate the prompts, generate the reference images, and then go ahead and generate video from there? All right, we've got this scene. I'm going to go ahead and expand on this one and see what this came up with. All right. So very interesting. It actually didn't finish cutting all the way through, but my prompt was pretty weak. It was just a way to kind of get an initial idea out there. But definitely you can see an example of this one. Let's take a look at this one now. So those are two examples, not as good as the ones that we showed you earlier, but again, sometimes it could be take multiple iterations before you get to the final results. And then lastly, I'm going to show you one. I had put in an image earlier that I created, and I thought I'd just kind of share with you guys, completely random, but this was an image I took. Literally, the image is exactly what you see here. We turned that image into a video. And my prompt was like, you know, make it a car chase scene. I think I said it was like, make it a car chase scene and with the rocket or an alien ship crashing or something like that. So let's see what this came up with.
Go, go, go! It's coming down! Go, go, go!
How cool is that, huh? And of course it came up with two different options, and here's the other one. So the first one I think was much better, but very cool nevertheless to see how these scenes could be made. So hopefully this was very helpful for everyone. Again, I think one of the things is like, hey, there's ways for you to be able to change how you do things in your workflow, be able to automate what you're doing with AI, and how to be able to use different tools like Alphana, Veo 3, and Nano Banana, and GPT-5 to be able to combine those elements together to be able to create something that you need. Again, those could be ads, those could be videos, those could be scenes for a storyboard. These are all different things that you can do to be able to generate content online. You can make fun videos and record them and then, you know, put together a caption to be able to share it. There's just so many use cases. So I hope this was useful for everyone. Hopefully this was an exciting session for you. I'm Sebastian Mourra, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Alphana. So if you need something, I'm your guy. Just reach out to me. If this is your first time watching this video, please go ahead and sign up for Alphana. Give these a try. I'm really excited to see what you do with it. And then go ahead and join the community. I mean, anything that you create, drop it into the community. I'd love to see what's being created or your workflow hack that helps you to be able to automate content in different ways. So thank you all again. I appreciate your time. Please, if you're on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. The algorithm absolutely loves it and it helps us grow. So I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.